King, you did it again.
Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about compute being the new oil, how we're starting to see compute capital markets appear right in front of our faces, and some altcoins that I'm pretty much bullish on in terms of this like whole compute and inference kind of sub narrative in AI. As of right now, I'm very bullish on a few altcoins here, and there's going to be some micro caps that we can talk about as well. Now, there's a lot of people talking about inference tokenization being the opportunity here. This is from the co-founder of Clinker, the Clinker, the launchpad. Well, he also launched a new launchpad called Liquid Protocol, which is going to be a launchpad with ingrained inference in it for these agents that's going to be launching on this launchpad. He posted inference tokenization is the opportunity. Then Doc here put out this tweet: the next companies won't only hold cash, they'll hold inference capacity. Inference tokens become AI native capital. Open Router connects model and demand. Dolphin AI brings verification plus marketplace infrastructure for decentralized inference, right? The future economy will run on verified intelligence. We'll talk about Dolphin a little bit later. You guys should know about Open Router by now, but this is something interesting that he said, is that the next big companies won't only just hold cash, they will hold inference capacity, right? So what does that lead me down into a rabbit hole of? SpaceX. Now, if you guys are paying attention to the traditional markets here, SpaceX is doing some big things here. Essentially, SpaceX was able to buy out Cursor. Now, Cursor was looking to get more compute infrastructure, and SpaceX was able to provide that, and they actually bought them out in a $60 billion deal here. If you guys scroll down here, is one of Silicon Valley startup that has drawn waves of developers by using AI to automate coding, making it a key rival to market leaders like Anthropic and OpenAI. But a lack of access to compute power has hammered Cursor's growth. So this is essentially where pretty much SpaceX stepped in. They basically helped them out and bought them out at the same time. But they're not the only one. Even though Cursor is competing with Anthropic also pretty much partnered with SpaceX to use its computing resource to pretty much help build out the other models that they had. As you guys know, Fabled came out not too long ago. It came out, then they had to take it off the market. Then it came out again. Then Sonnet 5 came out. So yeah, a lot of these new models that is coming out, the better that they get, the more compute that they're going to need at cheaper prices and just vast compute, right? So this is where these data centers and things like that is getting very important. But not only that, you're also seeing Google pay SpaceX $920 million a month for compute. This thing is ridiculous on what SpaceX is actually doing, but it's letting us know that this compute resource is becoming so very important that people are finding ways to get into this compute market. Either they're going to be selling it or they're going to be trying to get it for their own build out as well. So like the post said, like Doc said, companies that pretty much will hold inference capacities will probably be the next bigger projects, not projects, but companies, right? But this is where things get a little interesting. You see, Base 16Z put out this tweet: everyone is going to need compute, right? This compute, everyone is going to need it. For example, Meta. But oh wait, they're selling the compute, but they need it for their own AI that they're pushing out and things like that, right? If you guys don't know, Meta has now gotten into the cloud compute business. They're going to be selling some compute. We'll see how this one is going to operate as time goes on, but this compute capital market is getting huge. It's becoming a important topic, and I think we're going to capitalize on this being a big topic in crypto by targeting some projects that are actually either providing this compute, providing the inference, selling the compute, things like that. We'll see how this is going to shape up on pretty much the crypto side of things. So before we get into asking Asai what Asai thinks about all of this, and then getting into the altcoins, I would like to ask you guys, grab the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30k subscribers, so if you guys would like to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment what you guys think down below, and while you guys are down here, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily. And you guys can ask your questions on how does that Patreon group works. As you guys know, we have been getting into some bangers of plays, especially if your guys are looking into getting into the Robinhood chain that just recently launched. We already have been making some killing on Robinhood. We were early onto the whole Robinhood chain. As of right now, at the time of recording this video, people are stuck bridging their ETH over to Robinhood, but the day Robinhood came out, we bridged over there. So we already captured some of these nice little plays here that we can trade. This is pretty much how we're going to be trading on Robinhood to build out more dry powder. Also, I have a video for you guys coming out talking about how Robinhood is going to be that RWA chain, so stay tuned for that. But that's not the only thing you get with this Patreon group here. You guys get the best crypto terminal that you guys can possibly use, from the bear market to the bull market to the bull market to the bear market, right? You guys can see everything that this terminal will give you, from insights, all of the things that you're going to need. There's going to be some big upgrades coming for the terminal towards the end of the month as well. I got a lot to put into this terminal here, right? You guys can watch the video and see how this terminal actually works. And while you guys are there, you guys also get to see the code that you guys can use to get 40% off your first month, which is Asai 2026. This will save you guys 40% off your first month to test out the group, see if it's for you, test out the terminal, all of that good things. You could use that code right there. So let's get right into what Asai has to say. So I asked Asai, what's the thesis on compute capital markets? Compute capital markets, the tradable expression of the AI economy. I like that tagline, right? So compute capital markets is the way to think about what everyone's been calling AI crypto plays. Most people are solving the wrong problem. They are asking which token wins the compute race. The sharper question is which token gives you a tradable exposure to a new asset class that didn't exist 24 months ago. So what compute capital markets actually mean? Compute capital markets is an emergence of inference capacity as tradable, fungible, and price discoverable asset class. The way oil went from physical commodity to WTI, Brent futures, ETF wrappers, option chains, GPU compute is going from hardware you rent from AWS to a balance sheet line item. That's where pretty much where you saw Doc talk about the companies won't just own money, won't just own, dollars, but they're also own inference, right? So to future contracts to a token you can hold in your portfolio. The structural precedence is electricity markets. No one holds power plants to use electricity. They hold exposure to electricity markets. Through regulated utilities, futures, and ETFs, compute follows the same path. The physical GPU sits in data centers. The claim on that compute becomes a token, and the token trades in liquid markets, TAO, subnets, VVV, Akash, Render. These are all attempts at being compute ETF wrappers before the actual ETF exists. Now I won't get too in depth of this, but it does have a 4-stack. I'm going to leave this whole thing in the comments below for you guys to read into it because it's pretty long. Side goes in depth to this, but you got 4 layers, right? Layer 1 is the physical compute providers. Layer 2 is going to be your depend compute marketplaces. Layer 3 is going to be your tokenized inference with accrue mechanics, right? This is where we're going to talk about VVV, DM. You're going to also talk about pod, right? Layer 4 is your compute derivatives, intersection plays, right? So this is going to have your perps on compute indices, options on subnets, things like this. But as I said, you do also get the opportunity to understand what Asai is breaking down here. I'm gonna leave this in the comments for you so we guys can get into pretty much into the altcoins here. Now pod is going to be the first one we're going to talk about. I've been telling you guys about pod for a little bit now. It's at 45 cents here. Actually hasn't dipped too much since we really been talking about it. Let's see, actually we talked about it in the past month pretty much, right? So we got to let this thing load up here. As you guys can see, from June this got up to like 19. It got down to about a low of like 12 million market cap and came right back up to 20. So we're looking at this. People are actually getting very bullish on Pod. Doc even puts out this tweet here. Pod just printed 100 billion tokens in a single. That number is proof, right? Peer-to-pool and sharded decentralized inference verification are not white paper words anymore. They're running in production at Venice tier throughput on live decentralized GPU pool. Now, price that output at Open Router's floor rates, right? Single model Quinn 3x, not 3x, 3.6, 35B, and it's $25 million per year, 100% routed to Pod buybacks before the basket, before the API is even live. Now, price it against the market revenue multiplier multiples. Right, we're looking at Hype 15 billion market cap. Well, this is here pretty much saying that it's comparing that at different market caps here, right? Hype is at 15 billion market cap on $625 million revenue and 24x routes. VVV is at $616 million market cap on $60 million in revenue. Pod is at $15 million market cap on a 27 million speculative revenue. Right now, getting into this conversation here a little bit more here, because I did want to highlight the fact that I believe as we are maturing in crypto here, the idea of finding what makes a crypto altcoin successful is going to be right in front of our faces. Right, it's going to be your user base, how many users you have on chain, things like that, things that people actually can read into, right? And then your revenue, right? So this is big. You guys can see Hype, VVV here. I think Tau had pretty good revenue and user base as well. Pod is also here, right? So when I start talking about what's the user base, what's the revenue for some of these altcoins, that's the way I'm going to start to look to evaluate some of these altcoins. Now, DM is a part of that VVV stack. I like DM more for the agentic side of things, as it's pretty much the agentic inference, right? AI agents are going to need autonomous inference, right? They could hold DM and pretty much get their compute daily that they need to operate, right? So this is going to be something to look more into as well. Now, we'll have another video where we will be talking about what happened with Venice recently, as Venice did announce a $65 million Series A at $1 billion valuation through Dragonfly. They got into it, right? There was some good, there was some bad throughout this whole thing. The community was torn in between, right? So we're going to talk about this in detail in a whole nother video, maybe in the live stream a little bit here, right? Surplus is now interesting, seeing the idea of compute capital markets being a thing. Surplus is that marketplace where people are going to be buying this compute at a very discounted rate here, right? Again, Mac here has been building pretty nicely. He puts out an update on Surplus here. If you guys scroll down here, some major work that has been completed by the team so far in the past month. They migrated to AWS. They got Stripe payment support. The UI has been revamped. The next priorities for Surplus is major rework of the order book routing and offer health logic, adding support for multi-tenant accounts and more features for business users, improvements to our media model offerings and growth. You know, they're going to be doing some more cold outreach, SEO, tech influencers, things like that. The revenue, they still have 0% fees. We have roughly about 1,000 to 2,000 of daily payment value now. So as you guys can see, again, revenue is a key factor here, right? So they're making about 1,000 to 2,000 in daily payment value, right? So if we turn that fees up to 5%, we'd expect up to $50 to $100 a day in revenue. So that's a good start for a microcap. Of course, people want to talk about the microcaps and things like that, but I do think that Surplus has an opportunity here. Going on to some more microcaps here, you got Roba here. Roba is looking pretty good, just under $1 million market cap for robotics, and they providing inference for the robotics, right? And then you also have Dot here as well as another compute play here. But I put these two together because recently there was a partnership announced between the two from Roba, right? Where it announces a strategic integration in partnership with AI to bring private frontier AI to robotics builder. Tool integration, one mission: give every robotics team access to frontier grade AI models without sacrificing control of their data, right? So one, you're gonna have private AI models are coming to Roba no code, right? This is good. We've seen the privacy concept of AI models on Venice. That has been a thing, so we're going to be getting that on Roba through Dot, right? Train, fine-tune, and command robots using frontier intelligence, private by design. Then number two, you got private frontier inference available directly in Roba compute. Any robotics team will be able to access private inference at scale for simulation, policy training, and autonomous workflows. So these is about what we got here. 5 altcoins that you guys can look into for compute as of right now. Of course, there will be more. There's actually a few on Solana that does look pretty good as of right now. I haven't mentioned them in this video here, but there's some compute plays that's looking pretty good on Solana. Yeah, so a lot of things is being built out as of right now. I'm very bullish on compute, right? So if you guys are looking at my whole, like the whole AI portfolio I am building, it will be focused on robotics, AI agents, and compute, right? So that is going to be how my AI portfolio is going to look. I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We on that road to 30K subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, YouTube.